What's up and welcome to Knotfest TV. I'm here with Ben from Parkway Drive. Welcome to Knotfest. I'm good, how are you?
Great, thank you. Happy to be here.
So good. I mean, this is the inaugural Knotfest, and so it's amazing to see you guys on the lineup, of course. What's the vibe been like in terms of, from your perspective, at a festival that's, this is the very first one happening in Australia?
Really, really good. We're so happy to be here. We haven't played Australia, actually, played Australia once in 4 years, which is the longest gap we've ever had in our career.
I didn't realise it had been that long.
Yeah. So, and it's so good to be playing a festival of this size because, we play festivals all around the world, Europe and America and all over, and there's some really big ones, really good ones, and Australia has some, but there's so much room for more. And so this one's really, so far this is the first day, and I only arrived on site an hour ago, but it's looking amazing. They're all sold out. Everyone's so excited. So it's really good to be here. Amazing.
Yeah, because I think the last time that you would have played a festival here in Australia would have been Good Things 2019. Is that sound about right?
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's, God, time flies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that was the same place.
Yes,
same venue.
Exactly.
Which was really good, but this is much bigger, I believe.
30,000?
Yeah, 30,000. 35,000 tonight, I think.
Wow.
That's what I've heard.
Wild.
Yeah.
So a lot's happened since then. You've got your latest album, Darker Still, that's, currently out. And I just got to say, it's such a theatrical, almost, album. And it's really cool to hear you guys evolve with every single LP that you put out. But yeah, I know that was a bit of a process to write. So as a drummer, what was your sort of mindset going into the album, and how do you feel about it now that it's out and it's been out for a little while?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about that record for us was it was written during COVID, and every other record we've ever done was in between touring. So we'd come home for a month and then write for a little bit, then it would get broken up, then we'd come home and write for a little bit. But during COVID, we didn't play a show for 2.5 years. So we had the first year more or less off, which was really necessary. We didn't realise how much we actually needed a break.
Yeah.
But we did. And then when we started writing, it was because we actually wanted to, and we actually felt like we had inspired and creative and we wanted to write. And it wasn't so much quick, we got 3 weeks to write 2 songs. We just were like, oh, let's jam today. And we felt so it was much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And until the very end, when you have a deadline, then the pressure comes on, but it was more relaxed. And as far as the writing process, we're just at the point of our career now where we don't like to put ourselves in a box. We just write what we want to write and feel inspired. We've done the same, certain records, and we've done lots of different things. We've written many songs, and we want to write things that challenge us and that we haven't done before and that inspire us and that we enjoy playing, because that's ultimately what we're going to be doing, is playing those songs for the next long period of time. So we have to enjoy them more than anything. Absolutely.
Are there any songs off the record that you particularly love playing live? You love the parts that you wrote?
Yeah, Glitch is really fun to play live. Also, we've been playing a song called Soul Bleach, which is probably the more technical song for drums. That one's really cool. And then Darker Still as well, which is the more of a ballad song, because we don't have a song like that. It's just really cool for us, because we're so energetic and fast-paced and heavy, that to have a song in the set that's kind of slower and more of that ballad pace, which is really nice. Good for me. It's like a break.
Yeah, totally. You need that ebb and flow in the set, I suppose. I mean, when you mentioned Glitch, it just made me think of that crazy video clip with all those teddy bears. Have you ever thought about releasing those bears as merch? Because I reckon that would sell like hotcakes. Or so cool, Parkway bears.
That's a good idea, though. That's a really good idea. We'll have to give you a cut if we do.
Yeah. Trademark it. Trademark it. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that album was kind of documented, and we saw some of it come out on the recent Australian story, which was, I think, what I love about Parkway is you guys have documented so much of your journey pretty much since the start. And by the way, side note, congrats on 20 years since your first show.
Yeah, wow.
It's amazing.
Makes us feel old. That was only literally 3 days ago.
Yeah.
It coincided with our first show. So, yeah, it's crazy to think a lot of the people at this festival, probably the majority, wouldn't have been born when we started the band. I still feel young, but I hear that and I'm like, oh, I'm not that young.
Well, I think that's why like us Aussies connect with you so much. It's because we all kind of grew up together in the scene in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of people generally when you come to festivals like this and you mention Parkway, they say, oh, I saw them, in 2005 or 2003, and then we've all watched the evolution, and the fact that you've documented it is wonderful. But that Australian Story documentary obviously was showing a different side of the band and showing the interpersonal relationships, which are just so important to the art and to being happy in life. How long was that filming process for that special, and was it weird having people in there like during therapy or?
Yeah, good question. It was kind of strange because we'd started the process by ourselves. Like we'd realised we really needed professional help because we couldn't communicate and we basically wanted to kill each other. And we're like, well, we either walk away or we get professional help, and we didn't want to walk away, so we did that. And then ABC got wind of it and thought it was a really interesting story. The fact that like a heavy metal band, with this rough, tough persona, Aussie males, but actually being vulnerable and going to therapy together. They wanted to document that because they thought it was a good angle. And we were kind of a bit skeptical on whether to let them in. Because the one thing with that is they had creative control. They filmed it and then they just said, you'll see it on TV. Whereas everything else we've done, we were in the editing room, like either editing it ourselves or had the final say, but not with that. But Australian Story, very reputable. And ultimately, the message we wanted to send with that was that it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to be vulnerable and to speak up no matter who you are, what gender, what you do for work. Like, we all are human and we go through things. And to encourage people to, get help and speak about their issues. So we said we'd go for it. And yeah, it was quite interesting watching that on TV, just all of a sudden watching something for the first time and it's on national TV, but ultimately the message was the right one, and we enjoyed it.
So you actually saw it for the first time with everyone else when it was going to air? Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
That's crazy.
So it was a little bit like on the edge of our seat going, oh no, what's going to happen, what's going to come? But we trusted the directors and producers, and they did a good job. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really cool the way it was put together. Would going to therapy as a band be something that you would do maybe periodically going forward, or was this kind of just a snapshot in time where kind of moving forward it's not going to be like a regular thing? Or I don't know, like how does this like integrate into the life of a band?
Good question. Basically it's a tool there for us when we need it now. But we got a lot of tools from the therapist, and one we still use all the time is a check-in, it's called. So on tour now, once a week, we see each other every day and we talk every day and communicate, but it's obviously about surface level things or the band or those kind of things. But then once a week, usually on Sundays, we just pick a day and we just say, let's do a check-in, and we sit down and say, how's everyone feeling? And then even if there's nothing to, we think there's nothing to talk about, there's no issues. Like a lot of time, it's just good to talk about the real stuff, because you talk about how things are going at home with families, and it makes you understand the other person. Like, that's why they're acting a bit weird, because this was happening. And like, I mean, any relationship, whether it's romantic or partnership or business or friendship, communication is the key. And you don't know what someone's going through unless they speak about it. So yeah, we've just gotten communication tools that have helped us in our lives now.
Amazing. And another tool that I know you personally dip into is meditation. And there's just a wonderful shot from that Australian Story doco of you on the beach in Byron. I think it was meditating. When did you discover meditation, and how do you use meditation in your daily life as a musician?
Yeah, I do it every day. And it's like my most important thing now. It's like life-changing when you get into it. It's just the meditation and also just a lot of the principles behind it. So being from Byron, we've been exposed to those types of things for a long time because it's a very alternative place, yoga and meditation. I started yoga in my early 20s for the physical, like basically just like a lot of people, it's good for stretching, it's good for surfing and being limber, so I'll do it. And then slowly I evolved more into realizing the real purpose of it, which was the mind, slowing down the mind. And it wasn't until about 6 years ago where I actually went through something for the first time, well, not for the first time, but went through something quite difficult in my life where I was like experiencing anxiety, and like I was just in this bad place where I had to turn towards an answer. I was like, okay, I need something here. I saw a few therapists, like a psychologist, and didn't really get what I was after. And then it was actually meditation and more spirituality that kind of got me out of that place. And a lot of the spiritual teachers, they all say like suffering is the best teacher, because it compels you to go inwards and figure out your stuff, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, just basically realizing that the majority of the suffering in your life is from your own thoughts, not from the situation. It's from your own thoughts about it, and your own thoughts being really busy and all over the place. It's not until you actually stop and just go inwards until you realize how crazy your own thoughts can be. And when you sit and meditate, and there's different ways, but basically the more you do it and be in that stillness, the less your thoughts can really affect you, and you just state of peace, and that becomes your reality. And all of a sudden, the things that were the big issues in your life, you realize, hang on, that was just a thought that I believed. It's not actually true, and you can just let it go. And yeah, it's honestly life changing. Like, it's a whole journey. And the interesting thing about it is, you can't really tell someone about it until they're ready, but when someone's ready to like go down that path and they're ready to look at their stuff, it's like it's the best thing that ever happened to them, because you realize there's a better, more peaceful way to live.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as you said, it does take those difficult situations, and growth is painful, and but coming out the other side and being able to have those tools under your belt is awesome. What would you say to someone who says, oh, I'm not good at meditation, or they like the idea of it, but obviously it's a practice? How do you get started?
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. People say, I got to meditate, but my mind's just busy. But that's the point. Like, you're not supposed to sit there with a still mind straight away. The first thing and the most important thing is just to observe your mind. Like, if you can just watch it being busy, and at that point, you're not the thoughts, you're the one observing the thoughts. And then the more you do that, you become the observer and less the actual thoughts. And the more you do that, then you realize, hang on, I'm actually not my thoughts. Like, and that's really that's the main goal of meditation, to realize I'm actually not my thoughts. If any thought can come, and I can just let it pass, because it's not actually who I am. So anyway, there's so many resources out there these days. You go on YouTube and type in meditation, and there's so many. But like the teachings of, say, Eckhart Tolle, he's one of the more accessible teachers that anyone can get, and like that he can kind of blow your mind open very quickly.
Yeah.
And Sam Harris has an app called Waking Up, which
I haven't heard of that one.
really, really good meditations on there. But yeah, basically just get in stillness, get in nature, and just sit there and observe your mind and feel into the quietness.
Yeah, love it. Well, Ben, it's been so cool chatting to you about all this stuff. So I'll let you get back to the rest of your day now. Thank you so much for chatting to Knotfest TV. To wrap up, I've got one kind of a bit of a cheesy question to ask, but if you could describe Parkway Drive as a movie, what would it be?
Parkway Drive as a movie. Terminator.
I see that.
Yeah.
Sick.
I guess that'll do.
Is there much pyro going on tonight? Or?
Yeah. Well, we've got our full production from Europe, so it's gonna get warm. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Ben. It's been great speaking to you.